My name is Rhapsody, his name is Orbital Potato, and welcome back to Shellshock Live.
To Shellshock Live.
To Shellshock Live. Indeed. Welcome back to Shocker, hell yeah.
Shocker. You know, it's a little bit of a warm-up, for the episode, I feel. Get things started, kick things off.
Sean Connery's second favorite sport.
What's his first favorite sport?
Tennis. It's based on the thing that I do every single time. Every single time I'm making plans with someone, and they say something along the lines of, "Oh, we could start around 10ish." I'm like, "Did you know that's Sean Connery's favorite sport?" Every single time, without fail. And it's no longer funny, and I don't hang out with that many people, so everyone's heard it multiple times. But I still do it out of a sense of duty. I started this. I have to die with this ship. The captain goes down with the ship. This joke and I will be together until the bitter end.
I feel like that's a particularly poor analogy.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm going down with the ship? Is that not a good analogy in this case?
Well,
tell me, what is the analogy I should be using in this case?
That's a great question. Early bird gets the worm.
That's why I asked it. The early bird gets the worm. That's the analogy I should be using in this case.
Yep.
Also, isn't that like more an idiom?
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah! Oh. Bounce over the hole?
Oh,
yay!
Come on. I had 2 bouncy balls, man. What can you do? What can you do when life gives you 2 bouncy balls, huh? What can you do?
When life gives you lemons.
You demand to see the manager. That's
I don't want these lemons. What am I gonna do with these?
Of course, a reference to the fantastic video game series Portal.
A reference to the second sequel of Narbacular Drop.
Excuse me?
Narbacular Drop was the game that was created by the team that then became the Portal team after being picked up from Vision Pen Studios by Gabe Newell.
Oh, okay.
It's not technically a sequel, but it is very much the same kind of game.
Spiritual successor.
Well, it's not. Still no. It was just like the prototype that then became Portal.
Spiritual.
Because it doesn't have like spiritual successor holds that it has to have like things in common with kind of like another established property.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I think if you take the literal definition of spiritual successor, I think you can probably make a fair case for it, but I will grant you that the general game parlance of spiritual successor is someone who has moved on and wants to recreate an IP similarly. Yeah, so I you know what? I feel like I am a fair person. I will cede ground on that specific point.
I appreciate that, but unfortunately, now that you've admitted that you are capable of being wrong, I'm just going to bring this up every time we have an argument. You knew you were wrong that one time, so who's to say you're not wrong now?
Have you ever thought about going into law? You lied once, and therefore you are an unreliable witness. I rest my case, Your Honor.
Sorry about the airplane again, but oh god. That is actually one thing since moving. Like, the internet is much better here. I really appreciate that, but there is very little soundproofing in the quite small room that I've made my office.
Okay.
And I can just hear every single beat of the blades of an engine of any plane going overhead. It's wild. What was I saying before that? Law. Okay. Yeah, no, I could consider myself going into law. I used to be like much more argumentative than I currently am.
Okay.
Which is saying something. But I would be like needlessly argumentative. Like I was one of those kids in like early school that would try and prove the teacher wrong constantly just because I needed to have that validation. And I got that same validation out of arguments. Later on in life, character development, I learned that, wait, no, that just makes you a dick and no one likes you if you do that.
Yeah.
Right? You're just being a contrarian at that point.
Yeah.
But during that period of time, there were a lot of people who were trying to very politely bring to my attention that I was being a little bit of a dick by saying, have you considered law?
I do apologize. I did not realize that was a almost personalized
a sore spot.
offense.
Yeah, no, I can't believe that you could say that to me. Oh my God. I'm just gonna tie you up here. No, in the game, we're gonna tie up the score. I am loyally a man by trade. So of course I needed to say that I mean in the game, because otherwise someone might tie you up at some point and then they just dredge up the footage of this and, stick me up for the crime. I'm not going to get framed like that.
Yeah,
I'm not going down like that.
Exactly. Especially before your successful legal career, you wouldn't want to be associated with, with a crime like that.
Yeah, there's no impropriety of that level that I would like to be associated.
I must say, that was an absolutely exceptional shot.
Thank you! Can you do some own goals now? This is not working.
The problem is that it's actually kind of difficult to do own goals.
I know. So what you're saying is I was very skilled in the fact that I managed to land them.
That's exactly what I'm saying. See, look, you're perfect at this whole lawyer thing. You're taking a completely different meaning from what I originally intended. It's like perfect. It's so perfect. Hell
yeah, I can just translate old legal doctrine. It's gonna be mine.
Magna Carta.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Magna Carta?
I don't know why I said that. Magna Carta.
Oh, yeah, no. I'll interpret legal documents like the Magna Carta, like the Constitution, like,
like John Carter on Mars.
The Bill of Rights, the amendments, sorry.
Yeah, that sounds fair. That sounds fair.
Mm-hmm.
All right, hold on a minute.
That's what I'm going into. If you went into law, what field would you go into?
Tax law.
Are you going to go into family tax law?
Yeah.
So you immediately, this is the quickest you've ever answered any of my questions.
Yeah.
So you thought about this before.
Yep.
Why?
Yep. I used to really want to be a tax lawyer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, sorry, that's a really boring answer. No, I've had this. Okay, maybe I should spin a little bit of a tale. I've always wanted to evade taxes legally, and I really thought that going into law would be a fantastic way of, cheating the system and sticking it to the man, because that's what I've always been about.
Well, you're not wrong. There are a lot of things that are accessible in wealth avoidance, tax avoidance.
Wealth avoidance. I'm in the business of wealth avoidance.
Trust me, I am definitely in the business of wealth avoidance. My past attempts at careers would dictate.
Hold on a minute. There we go.
Yeah. But okay, so what actually made you interested in tax law?
I used to read a lot of I don't know if you. I used to read a lot of John Grisham books. I don't know if you ever. You know John Grisham books?
I've heard of.
Yeah, they're literally just like legal fiction books, but they're written in a really compelling way. And I used to read like loads of his books, and a lot of them were really, really good. And I think it was sort of one day that I was kind of like, well, I kind of like numbers. I kind of like, I kind of like the idea of doing something in law.
Yep.
And so I thought, oh well, tax law it would be.
Hell yeah.
But upon any reflection, it's kind of like, wow, that is ungodly boring. Why would I ever think that?
Of course, but hey, some people got to do the boring jobs. Otherwise, the boring jobs don't get did.
That's true. That is true. I tell you what would really be boring, though, right? Okay. In fact, let me rephrase. Let me. I'm being a bit selfish talking about myself here. What is your type of law? What would you become a lawyer in?
Well, the dramatist in me wants the criminal law wants to be Atticus Finch, right?
Yeah.
But in reality, I'm thinking I would probably just go into like policy interpretation and stuff like something really, really boring and dry.
So okay, like constitutional sort of law, I guess, kind of.
Yeah. But like also just like
Oh my! You could be,
interpretation of policy in the courts.
You could be Nicolas Cage in National Treasure.
I have been planning on stealing the Declaration of Independence, so this is actually this is beautiful. Now I have a reason to.
I'm gonna steal the Declaration of Independence. I can't believe he pulls that off and like looks at the camera.
Map on the back.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
It's a really weird documentary where he actually managed to get the Declaration of Independence not once but twice.
Yeah.
He stole that twice.
You gotta imagine that they'd be kind of a little bit shifty, you know, with him the second time that he tried to steal it.
You'd think, but no. Wild. I don't know how they got the cameras in there for the robbery as well. Like,
I know.
Damn. Was it like a recreation or something? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
It looked too real, and they had actually Nicolas Cage doing it as well. Production, you get someone else.
Yeah. I heard that the you know, the film crew were all trained in like the art of you know, robbery and whatnot, so they were all like accomplices and stuff. So it was just like one of those things where like friends film like a backyard project sort of thing, you know?
Oh yeah, okay. It actually wasn't meant for full distribution. It was a found footage.
Well, exactly. That's the sort of thought that I had anyway, and I think that's you know.
Actually, they had to cut out a lot of scenes for the theatrical release of people just turning to the camera and saying, "Are you okay with this? Like, do you want to follow me over here while I go steal this?" You know, things like that, as they were giving directions to the actual camera.
Yeah. No, so okay, so you'd go into like constitutional law. Okay, all right. Why? What's the logic in that? Just boring.
I would say that certain interpretations, like especially with films that I've watched recently, like to mention Vice and the interpretation of the unitary executive theory, the different interpretations that you can have on legal documents can be incredibly influential. And while I wouldn't want to wield that influence, I would want that influence wielded
by you,
by someone who isn't going to use it maliciously.
Yeah, well, it's like
now I can't say necessarily that I wouldn't be using it maliciously by someone else's definition.
Yeah.
But
it's like
I don't feel like there is currently a system set up for the reining in of those kinds of powers effectively.
It's like the benevolent dictator, right? I bet, you know, I think everyone sort of feels. No, seriously, right? I think everyone sort of feels like if I was in control of everything, it would be great, and I would do a great job.
That's the handbook for rulers. That's the CGP.
The dictator's handbook. Yeah. That's fair. Okay. Constitutional law. So what you're basically saying is you just want to be a judge, like a Supreme Court judge or whatever the equivalent is in Australia.
We have a Supreme Court. What? Yeah, we have a Supreme Court.
We didn't have a Supreme Court until like 2004 or whatever.
Damn, we are way ahead of you.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, that's a boring conversation. I thought you were going to take off for a second there.
One bounce earlier would have got you.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what they say, horseshoes and hand grenades, buddy.
Yep. You know what they say about one bounce earlier, horseshoes and hand grenades.
Oh, that's
a cliche right there.
That is a cliche.
Ooh.
All right.
Nice traveling attempt.
Thank you. Nice grenading attempt.
Thank you.
Oh, this is just not good. Why can we not just have like a just plain old map?
I have no clue. This is why we can't have nice things.
Exactly.
Nice.
Thank you.
Very well done.
I appreciate that. That's very, very kind of you to say, dude.
Look, I'm nothing if not.
I must say, that is an absolutely exceptional shot. Really top notch.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
Can only hope that one of these days you manage to, step up on my level. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I recognize talent when I see it. Have you ever thought about going pro in Shellshock Live?
Game recognized game. Yeah, I actually have.
Yeah.
I emailed Kevin about it and said something along the lines of, "Hey Kev, just RE your last message. Yes, I actually am interested in becoming the worldwide commentator of esports for the Shellshock Live community."
Okay.
And then he emailed me back like 24 seconds later. He gets back to me really quickly. He's really responsive.
Yeah.
And just said, "Yeah, okay, actually I've decided I'm gonna step down and make you actually the CEO of K-Champ Games." And I was like, "You can't make it K-Champ Games. Like, my name's not K-Champ." And he was like, "Actually, we're changing it to R. Pearson Games." And I was like, "That's really kind. Thank you so much." It's a completely legitimate story of what happened to me yesterday.
Look, that's hilarious. Honestly, that's great. That was very well done. I thought that was a majestically crafted story.
A story? No.
Sorry. Yes, reality.
There we go.
Okay, weird. You didn't get the double damage for the bow? I don't think.
I think I did. I don't know. Maybe it's like 7.25 and then it rounds up. Huh?
Yeah, but 7.25 would give 14.5. So
yeah, I know. And then, well, no. Okay, so there's something called a roof function and a floor function. So if something has to be rounded and it's in the middle, a roof function will round it upwards. So 14.5 would become.
Oh, you're gonna
15.
make me. You're gonna make
but
me say
if
it.
it's But if it's 7.5 and it was rounding up, then the initial hit would have been 8, but then the doubling of it would be 15, which would be weird. So it's much simpler for it to be 7.25, which would round down floor.
Yeah.
And 14.5, which would round up.
I just realized this is totally my bad because that's you're actually qualified to talk about these things. Like actually qualified.
Literally, yeah.
Like literally, actually, and not figuratively.
It's good to have a field of expertise, even if I'm bad at it.
Field of expertise, a field of mediocrity, I think is what it's referred to.
Oh no, I just wallow in a field of mediocrity. That's
Okay, I will grant you that you might have been spot on with the wave function extrapolation comment that you made earlier. However, I think it was probably more just likely that the double damage didn't apply for some reason.
Almost certainly, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes way more sense. But if you're going to take a whole episode to describe live, 12 minutes.
You're gonna describe to me the function of a wave.
The function of a wave.
Yeah.
Well, you can ride it with a boogie board or your body if you're bold enough. Have a good time. I actually went to the beach for the first time in maybe a decade a couple days ago.
Was it good?
It was actually. It's probably the first time I've. Wow, that's a good shot. Well done. It's probably the first time I've ever been to a beach without burning myself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, of a very sickly pallor to me, courtesy of staying indoors all of the time. My skin is basically alabaster. You can see straight through it. Sorry.
That's a fantastic word, alabaster. Sorry, I just had to stop you.
Alabaster.
What does it mean? It's just like
of a pearly white quality.
Oh wow. Okay. What an incredible word.
Yeah, no problem.
Sorry, please continue. I'm enthralled.
Yeah, so I usually die as soon as someone mentions the beach rather than even going, but oh wow! That's so cool! Is that the upgraded disco ball?
Yeah, that's groovy ball.
That's groovy.
That's groovy, dude.
It's very well named.
Sorry, the beach.
Yes, usually I have quite a sickly palate to me, so the beach is typically not exactly the kind of right place for me. But on a whim, decided to go. It was a very hot day. Managed to actually keep up with sunscreen application and have a reasonable time.
Yeah,
it was nice.
What did you did you boogie board or ride the wave function?
Oh, yes. Well, I did not boogie, nor did I Bodhi surf. But I.
Okay. Okay.
What if you say boogie board? I'm going for Bodhi surf.
Bodhi surf.
Bodhi surf. That
surf.
really just sounds like a surfer describing like a certain kind of wave. Like, oh, there's some real Bodhi surf out there today, dude. Gnarly, you get whopped.
That's great. That's great. So you didn't.
But no, it was a good time. There's this thing that I really enjoy about it in that it gives you like a ridiculous amount of physical exhaustion, like not just working out levels of physical exhaustion, but because of the salt and the sun and like you kind of feel drained. So you get home and you just fall asleep instantly. You just have a nap after the beach because you just have to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's...
When is the last time you would have gone to a beach?
Oh man, I mean, depends what you classify as a beach. So, like,
so pretty much, yeah, beaches.
Yeah, okay.
I would probably
any sort of depressed area that is relatively near the coastline where you can see the tide come in. I would assume is probably your.
That's my room.
Okay, tide comes into your room.
No. Before you said tide, just a depressed area near the coast.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of beaches around here that are quite that are just stones, but I mean that's not really a. I mean, I guess that's a beach. So I guess kind of recently then.
That's kind of coast. I think when I'm talking about beach, I'm talking about like sun, sand, sea, other S words.
Demonetized. Yeah.
Sunscreen. No. What? No, I wasn't going for demonetized. I was going for. Wow, I definitely wasn't going for the demonetized that I think that you're implying. No, I was just trying to continue the statement, but I didn't have any more S words, so I was just like, oh, I'll bank on synonyms. There we go. That's another thing that you can get at the beach. Synonyms from time to time.
That's pretty good. That is.
Yeah. No, it was good fun. I'm glad that I pushed myself a little bit out of my comfort zone there. That was also the first time that I've worn shorts in probably over a decade as well.
That's another S word for the beach.
Yeah, shorts, sunscreen, slip, slop, slap.
Slip.
That was a slip, slop, slap. It was an ad campaign here in Australia to get people sunscreen on. Got to slip, slop, slap. So that you put sunscreen. We have bad ad campaigns. They're really awful. Regardless, that's a later topic. We can talk about ad campaigns and stuff. We can talk about what you would do as a marketing executive. There's so many things that we could talk about. This podcast goes forever. Until then, though, my name is Rhapsody. This was not my episode, was it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is your episode.
Hey, my name is Rhapsody. His name has been Orbital Potato. There's a link in the description down below to all of the things you would possibly want to look at. Literally all of them. We've linked every different site that you would possibly, and it's personalized to each viewer. Your heart's most intense desire is found in the links in the comment section down below. So, you know, some of you might say, actually, Rhapsody, I opened it and then I had my friend open it and we both saw the same description, so it's not really personalized. I would say, no, you just don't understand your desires. You really want to go and check out Orbital's channel so that you can see his current playthrough of Democracy 3, and you really want to check those playlists. It's just a most intense desire. People don't understand it. It's like looking into the mirror of Erised and by the way, I should end this episode before I just continue forever. Hopefully you're enjoying yourselves and hopefully we'll see you next time.
Bye.